The High Council had sent the message exactly 47 cycles ago. Ambassador stood before the great viewing screen, his four eyes watching the endless darkness of space. Behind him, 12 council members sat in curved chairs, their silver robes reflecting the dim blue light of the chamber. The air was thick with tension. Everyone was waiting. They had been waiting for a very long time. The message had been perfect, had written it himself, choosing every word with care. He had offered humanity everything: peace, friendship, technology that could cure their diseases and extend their lives, the secrets of traveling faster than light, a place in the great galactic federation that ruled 1,000 worlds. Any other species would have responded within hours. Any other civilization would have celebrated. Any other beings would have sent messages of thanks, delegations of diplomats, and promises of eternal friendship. Humanity had sent nothing. "Perhaps their communication systems are damaged," said Elder, the oldest member of the council. His voice was weak but hopeful. "The humans might not have received our transmission." Turned slowly, his long fingers pressed together in the traditional gesture of doubt. "Our signals reached them, Elder. We confirmed delivery. They received every word we sent. Our observers watched their leaders read our message. They understood it completely." "Then why do they not answer?" asked council member. Her blue skin had turned pale with worry. 47 cycles is a long time to remain silent. The chamber fell into uncomfortable quiet. On the great screen, a small blue planet rotated slowly in the distance. Earth, the home of humanity. They had watched this species for 300 years. They had seen humans crawl from their caves. They had seen them build cities of stone and then cities of steel. They had watched them split the atom and reach beyond their atmosphere to touch the moon. And now they had made first contact. They had extended their hand in friendship. And humanity had not taken it. Commander of the military fleet entered the chamber through the main doors. His heavy boots echoed against the metal floor like thunder in the silent room. He carried a data tablet in his three-fingered hand, and his expression was deeply troubled. The scales on his face had turned gray, a sign of extreme stress. "High Council," he said, bowing his head low, "I bring news from our observation posts. You need to see this immediately." "Speak," said, though he already felt cold dread building in his chest. Place the tablet on the central table. A holographic image appeared above it, floating in the air for all to see. Ships. Hundreds of human ships were leaving Earth's orbit. They moved in perfect formation, their engines burning bright orange and white against the black canvas of space. More ships followed them, and more after that. "They are mobilizing," said. "In the 47 cycles since we sent our message, humanity has tripled its fleet. They have built massive shipyards on their moon. They have established mining operations on 3 different planets in their system. They have constructed weapons platforms around their world." Elder leaned forward in his chair, his old eyes struggling to see the details of the hologram. "Perhaps they are preparing to join us. Perhaps they are building ships to travel to space for diplomatic meetings." Shook his head slowly. His expression grew even darker. "These are not exploration vessels, Elder. These are not diplomatic transports. These are warships. Every single one carries weapons beyond anything we have seen from their species before. Their technology has advanced faster in 47 cycles than it did in the previous 50 years. The council members looked at each other. Fear began to spread through the chamber like a cold wind on a winter night. Several members gripped the arms of their chairs. Others whispered prayers to old gods. Walked closer to the hologram. He studied the human ships carefully, examining every detail with his 4 eyes. They were beautiful in a terrifying way. Sharp angles that seemed designed to inspire fear. Dark metal that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. Weapon systems mounted on every surface, pointing in every direction. These were not ships built for peace. These were not ships built for exploration. These were ships built for one purpose only: war. They know we are watching them, said quietly. His voice was barely above a whisper. They know we sent the message. They know we are waiting for an answer. Then why do they not respond? Council member repeated her question with growing desperation. Why do they build weapons instead of sending diplomats? Why do they prepare for battle instead of celebration? The question hung in the air like smoke. No one wanted to answer it. No one wanted to say what they were all beginning to think. On the other side of the galaxy, in a deep underground facility beneath Earth's surface, General Stone sat before a wall of screens. The room was cold and filled with the soft hum of powerful machines. Around him, 50 officers worked at their stations, monitoring every satellite, every ship, and every signal that left human space. Maps of the solar system covered 3 walls, marked with the positions of every human vessel and every alien observer. Stone was 63 years old. His hair was iron gray, his face was lined with the marks of age and stress, and his eyes were cold as ice on a frozen lake. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth before the aliens came. He had buried friends. He had lost family. He had seen the very worst that intelligent beings could do to each other. Nothing surprised him anymore. Nothing scared him anymore. When the alien message arrived 47 cycles ago, Stone had been the first to read it. He had sat alone in this very room, reading the promises of peace and friendship. He had read about the Galactic Federation and its hundreds of member species. He had learned that humanity was not alone in the universe. And then he had made a decision that would shape the future of his entire species. "Status report," said Stone, his voice cutting through the quiet hum of machines like a knife. "Fleet 7 is now fully operational, sir," replied an officer without turning from his screen. "That brings our total active warships to 412. Fleet 8 will be ready within 3 cycles." Stone nodded slowly, his expression revealing nothing, and the defense grid. 87% complete. We expect full orbital coverage within 6 cycles. Ground-based installations are already active on all continents. Stone turned his chair toward the largest screen. It showed the observation post, a small station hidden in the asteroid belt near Jupiter. The thought they were invisible. They thought their technology was so far beyond human capability that they could watch without being seen. They thought they were the hunters and humanity was the prey. They did not know that human scientists had detected them 3 years before first contact. They did not know that humanity had been watching them back. "They are still waiting," said Stone. "Still sitting in their council chamber, hoping we will send a nice, friendly response. Still believing we will bow our heads and thank them for their generous offer." Captain stepped forward from her station. She was young, brilliant, and absolutely loyal to humanity's cause. Her dark hair was pulled back tight, and her uniform was perfectly pressed. "Sir, the Civilian Council has requested again that we send a diplomatic team. They believe direct communication might ease tensions and establish productive relations." "The Council can make requests all day long," Stone interrupted, not unkindly. "But they put me in charge of this situation for a reason. They know what I know. They understand what I understand." "And what is that, sir?" Stone stood up slowly. His old bones ached with the movement, but his mind was sharp as ever. He walked to the main screen and placed his weathered hand against the cold glass. Earth floated there in miniature, blue and green and beautiful. "In all of human history, Captain, every single time a more advanced civilization has met a less advanced one, what has happened?" Was silent for a moment. The answer was obvious. The answer was written in blood across every page of human history. Conquest, colonization, destruction of the weaker culture. "Exactly." Stone turned to face her, his eyes holding hers. "They call themselves peaceful. They offer us gifts like candy to children. They promise friendship and brotherhood, but I have read their message 1,000 times. I have studied every word, every phrase, every implication. Do you know what I noticed?" "No, sir." "They never asked permission. Stone's voice grew harder. They watched us for 300 years without introducing themselves. They studied us like specimens in a laboratory. They observed our wars, our diseases, our struggles, and they did nothing. And when they finally decided to speak, they did not ask if we wanted contact. They did not request a meeting. They simply announced that they would give us technology and welcome us into their federation, as if we had no choice. As if our acceptance was already assumed. The room had gone completely quiet. Every officer had stopped working. Everyone was listening. That is not the behavior of equals meeting for the first time, Stone continued. That is the behavior of masters speaking to servants. That is the behavior of conquerors offering surrender terms wrapped in pretty words. He walked back to his chair and sat down heavily. Our silence is our answer, Captain. We will not thank them. We will not bow. We will not become another obedient member of their great federation, following their rules, accepting their leadership, grateful for whatever scraps they choose to give us. We will build our ships. We will strengthen our defenses. We will grow stronger with every passing day. And when they finally understand that humanity will not be controlled, sir, what then? Stone smiled coldly. They will have a choice to make. They can leave us alone and respect us as equals, or they can try to force their will upon us. And if they choose that path, they will learn something that no species in this galaxy has ever learned before. What is that? They will learn what happens when you try to put a leash on humanity. Back on the ambassador had called an emergency meeting. The holographic display now showed something new and disturbing. Human ships were approaching the observation post near Jupiter. Not attacking, not communicating, just watching. Dozens of warships floating in perfect formation, their weapons powered but not firing. They are sending us a message, said, understanding finally dawning in his mind. Without words, without signals, without any communication at all. Commander stepped forward, his scales now almost white with fear. Ambassador, I have analyzed their fleet movements. They are not preparing for defense alone. They are preparing for expansion. They are claiming every planet, every asteroid, every piece of rock and ice in their system. They are gathering resources at an incredible rate, and they are doing it faster than any species we have ever observed. How fast? Asked Elder. At their current rate, they will have complete military control of their entire solar system within 10 cycles. Their industrial capacity doubles every few cycles. Their population is united behind this effort in ways we have never seen. Paused, struggling to speak the next words. After that, once they have secured their system, they will begin looking outward. They will begin reaching toward the stars. The council chamber erupted in worried voices. Some called for sending more messages, more promises, more gifts. Others demanded immediate military action before humanity grew too strong. A few suggested complete withdrawal from human space, abandoning all observation posts and leaving humanity alone forever. Raised his hand, and the chamber slowly fell silent. I have spent my entire life studying other species, he said, his voice heavy with new understanding. I have welcomed 37 civilizations into our federation. Every single one of them responded to our message with gratitude. Every single one was eager to join us, to share knowledge, to become part of something greater than themselves. He turned to face the image of Earth, that small blue world that now seemed so dangerous. But humanity is different. They did not respond with gratitude for our offer. They did not respond with fear of our superior technology. They did not respond at all, and I finally understand why. Tell us, said Elder, his old voice trembling. His four eyes closed briefly, and when they opened again, they held a terrible new wisdom. When we sent our message, we expected humanity to see us as superior beings offering them a great gift. We expected them to feel small and honored. We expected them to feel grateful for our attention. But humanity did not feel any of those things. They saw our message not as an offer of friendship, but as a threat. They saw our gifts not as generosity, but as bait in a trap. He pointed at the screen, at the hundreds of warships now surrounding Earth like a protective shell. And instead of begging for our friendship, instead of accepting our terms, instead of becoming the grateful newcomers we expected, they began preparing for war. They did not respond because they did not need to. Their silence was not confusion or fear. Their silence was defiance. Their silence was a declaration that they will not be controlled, that they will not be welcomed into our federation on our terms, that they will choose their own path among the stars, and nothing we say or do will change that. Commander took a step backward, his hand moving unconsciously toward his weapon. "You are saying they are planning to attack us." "No," said, and his voice was hollow. "I am saying something far worse. I am saying they are waiting. They are building their strength, expanding their reach, unifying their people, and waiting to see what we do next. If we send ships, they will be ready to meet them. If we send armies, they will be ready to fight them. If we do nothing, they will keep growing until they are strong enough to challenge not just us, but the entire Galactic Federation itself." The council sat in stunned silence. The weight of this understanding pressed down on them like a physical force. "We offered them peace," said Elder, his voice barely more than a whisper. "We offered them submission dressed in friendly words," corrected gently. "And they answered with silence, the most terrifying answer any species has ever given us." On Earth, General Stone received the final report of the day. The observation post was pulling back. Alien ships were retreating from human space. No shots had been fired. No words had been exchanged. No treaties had been signed. And humanity had won its first galactic victory without sending a single message. Stone looked at the stars on his screen. Somewhere out there, ancient civilizations were learning a hard truth about the young species from Earth. Humanity would not be conquered. Humanity would not be controlled. Humanity would not accept gifts with hidden strings attached. Humanity would write its own future among the stars. And they would do it in silence. Because sometimes the most powerful statement was no statement at all. Sometimes the greatest answer was to refuse to answer. And sometimes a species showed its true strength not through words or weapons, but through the simple, terrifying act of saying nothing at all. The had waited for humanity's reply. Now they understood that silence was the only reply humanity would ever give. The end.